What's Gucci with the veterans military? Welcome back again. Today we're going to be talking about presumptive VA disability claims. How you can get service connected for these disabilities in which you've served for, whether it be Vietnam era, Gulf War era. As always, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. You got any comments, please, hit me down below in the comment section. I am active in the comments. You can check out my videos. I respond to all comments. Let's get into it. First of all, we got, regardless if you served in the Gulf War, the Vietnam War, World War II, the way presumptive conditions work, the VA is going to verify your DD-214 to make sure that you were either deployed to any specific area identified on that presumptive condition list, as well as any duty stations. So very few veterans or military members, they're stationed in these hostile areas. Usually it's deployed, but there are some long effort military operations going on. So there are some military members and some veterans who stay longer than 5, 6, 9 month rotations, usually a year, 2 years. If you're in the Army, Special Forces, stuff like that. Usually Special Forces are like 6 month deployments, but at least with the Army. So you got that. Your DD-214 will cover that. That's like your nexus back to the military. But in order to bridge the gap, you need a current day diagnosis. A diagnosis does not equate to treatment. There's a lot of veterans in the comment section, on Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere, they're submitting VA disability claims with years worth of treatment, especially for like PTSD, insomnia, sleep apnea, rhinitis, chronic sinusitis, all these disabilities. However, they don't have a formal diagnosis. Now, for all presumptive conditions, the VA needs to have a diagnosis on file, whether you physically bring it in or your medical evidence is so overwhelming that you can obtain it at a compensation and pension exam or CNP exam. But more often than not, veterans are not getting service connected at these CNP exams. Why? Because you might have an inexperienced examiner, a shitty examiner. You may have an inexperienced rater or a shitty rater. Regardless of the case, all your medical evidence is good. However, you don't have that diagnosis. Simply just go and get a diagnosis. I know a lot of veterans utilize VA medical facilities. Yes, it may be hard to obtain that. I know it's hard because I tried to do the same thing. Only disability I was able to get diagnosed by the VA medical facility was sleep apnea. I got tested and diagnosed and given a CPAP machine at a VA medical facility. However, when it came to all my other issues that I know spawned from my military service, they weren't willing to give me treatment. They weren't willing to render a diagnosis. Well, at the time, I just said, F it. I'm not going to deal with the VA claims process like most veterans do. But those were years I went without benefits. Not so much the compensation benefits. Yeah, they are nice. However, there are additional benefits at a higher VA disability rating. 100% permanent total being, the nice shiny egg Super Bowl 49ers. You know what I'm talking about. It's that route to Super Bowl 49ers game. I'm talking about, and the Chiefs. But we got to get that we got to do all the games up until that. A lot of people, I know y'all like football and all this other stuff. I don't really watch football. I watch it sometimes. I'm more of a in the gym. I'd rather throw a football than go watch football for fucking what? I don't even know. I think each. Anyways, going back to it. But once you got a diagnosis, depending on your medical evidence, that's going to dictate what VA rating you get. So we can take, let's take PTSD for example. No, allergic rhinitis for example. Now, if you've served in the Gulf War, Iraq, Afghanistan, Jordan, Oman, Yemen, whatever the case, there's a lot more countries. But if you served in the air, water, or ground forces, and you have allergic rhinitis, cool. It's mainly due to what? Burn pits and all the exposures there. You get out the military, you get a diagnosis. Okay, cool. In order to better your chances of getting higher than a 0%, because that's what the VA has been giving a lot of veterans on the PACT Act, this whole push for PACT Act 22, just taking the PACT Act presumptive conditions, for example. And Veterans don't have a nasal endoscopy, which is good because it's going to identify if you have any polyps in your nose. That will qualify you for the 30% criteria, as well as if you have any nasal blockages. A nasal endoscopy or an MRI will be able to catch that. CAT scan as well. So you just can't go in there and you're filing a allergic rhinitis claim and they're like, okay, well, where's your medical evidence? Where's your diagnosis? You don't even have a nasal endoscopy. How long have you been getting treated for this? Okay, cool. Off and on for 10 years. You might have gone in 5 or 10 times within the last 5 to 10 years. Cool. So, I mean, it's not that severe if you've gone once a year for the last 10 years. And you definitely don't have the medical evidence needed for a 10%. And, you know, if you don't have it for 10%, we're not even going to look at 30%. So, you have to do your due diligence. You know, we all went to the military, boot camp, you know, it was all in the dirt. It was in the trenches. Like Emily Dickinson once said, fortune befriends the bold. So, if you're bold enough to go to medical, if you're bold enough to empower yourself to build this medical evidence, to learn about the VA disability claims process, to pop open a book, to prepare yourself mentally and physically, as well as, you know, knowledge-wise for these examinations, compensation and pension. So, with that being said, y'all got any questions, comments, concerns, as always, leave it down below in the comment section. Until next time, you know what time it is. Motherfucking Debo out.